What's going on, everyone? Louis back with another album reaction and review. Thanks so much for hanging out. I hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to be listening to Circles by Mac Miller. I know that there's a lot of people who have been requesting this album and have been waiting patiently for this review. I really wanted to get into this album as soon as possible, but I also wanted to put a little bit of time in between our review of Swimming and now this review of Circles, mainly because they're some of Mac's last work while he was with us, and they're both great albums from what I've heard. And I just, wanted to let each one of them have their time to shine so I can really soak them in individually. I also wanted to take some time and listen to some of Mac's earlier works. We did a review of Kids, and I wanted to see what the earlier stages of his music career sounded like compared to where he wound up with his later albums. So that was a lot of fun to do. For those of you who aren't familiar with the channel, one of the first reviews that we did was Swimming by Mac. And around that time, we had about 40 or 50 subscribers. That was about 2 months ago. Well, in 2 months, this channel has just absolutely exploded, and we have now surpassed 1,250 subscribers. And I don't even know how to put it into words how grateful and thankful I am for all of your feedback, all of your support for the channel. I read all of y'all's comments. I try to respond to as many as I can. But, the response has just been overwhelming. Like I said, I really just wanted to dive into some music that I haven't experienced and share my thoughts as they come on the first listen. So thank you all so much. And for surpassing 1,000 subscribers, this is the video that I wanted to do. And we've already passed that. So I'm going to have to plan the next one as well. So Circles came out in 2020, which means that it came out after Mac had passed. It is made up of 12 songs, 48 minutes long, which means it's about 4 minutes per song. From what I've heard, this album is better than Swimming, which is very exciting for me because I know how good Swimming was. I'm also really nervous because I know how much of an emotional roller coaster Swimming was. So I'm really excited, but also really nervous about this listen. But we're just going to get right into it with the first song, which is Circles. Let's go. Very soft to start out. There's those aquatic themes in those synths.
This is what it looked like right before you fall. Stumbling around, you've been guessing your direction, except you can see it all. Now I have a name, I don't have a name, no.
It's like you don't know who you are. You're still trying to figure yourself out.
I cannot be changed, I cannot be.
You feel like you're stuck in your ways.
Trust me, I've tried, drawing circles. Well, I drink my whiskey, you sip your wine. And I can keep you safe, I can keep you safe. You're feeling sorry, I'm feeling fine. And I found it goes around like the hands that keep counting the time, drawing circles.
I love how thoughtful and soft this song is to start out the album. Yeah, what a really good start to this album. Right off the bat, you can hear a lot of the sounds that we experienced in Swimming. From what I understand, they were part of the same sessions, and it was meant to be a double album. But that was a really good start. I really enjoyed the themes that were going on in there. They felt very relatable, very personable. It's true. Sometimes you feel like you're stuck. You've tried everything you can. You feel like you're stuck in your ways. And depending on your mindset, it feels like you're tackling this alone. And I can understand that. But there definitely are people who can help in those circumstances. So considering the words that Mac has used in his last few albums before he had passed, may have felt like maybe he couldn't reach out as well. On that last section where he says, well, I drink my whiskey, you sip your wine, it just sounds like there are two worlds that are clashing with one another. He says, you're feeling sorry, I'm feeling fine. Same thing, just two different point of views. And that's how relationships go, and you have to work on it. You have to make sacrifices for those that you love. And we're going to go into the next song, which is track number 2, Complicated. I already like how upbeat this is.
Outside is cloudy, but I like that better. Some people say they want to live forever. That's way too long, I'll just get through the day.
True.
Without any complications. Does it always gotta be so complicated?
Those hooks, man.
And all I wanna do is look, but I can't see, baby.
I like that little guitar or synth. Little conversation happening between the instruments right now.
Inside my head is getting pretty cluttered. First, can I please get through a day without any complication?
A little bit electronic. So that one, we can see that there's more electronic being used in at least the beginning of this album compared to what we heard in Swimming. Something that I was thinking about going into this album because of the themes that I've heard running in circles compared to Swimming. I feel like there are two sides to the same coin. Swimming feels more red. Circles feels more blue. To me anyways. Just with the themes that I'm getting so far. And I love the imagery that he uses to convey what's going on within himself, right? Like in that one line he said, inside my head is pretty cluttered. I try but can't clean up this mess I made. You know, he's really painting what is going on in that moment. And it's something that we can all relate to. Some of the other things he said, like behind the wheel, but still ain't on my way. You feel like you're sitting idle in your car and you don't want to take off to where you need to go. I feel like that can be just as much relatable to our own lives. He also said, before I start to think about the future, first, can I please get through a day? I think that's probably the most real statement that can relate to the most people. Life is stressful. And especially this generation with everything going on, you got to make it day by day. That's the only way that you can really live in peace. Take it a day at a time. Musically, same thing. I really enjoyed his approach. Keeps it really simple, but everything is still so full. The bass was coming through really well. I really enjoyed the bass work there. I'm pretty sure that's Thundercat. And finally, the last section with the little change up they did in that final chorus. It just makes it so it's not as repetitive. You never want to have a song sound redundant, and I think he did a really good job of doing that in this song. So the next song is Blue World, track number 3, Blue World.
It's a blue world.
Very 50s. I feel like I'm in Fallout.
Well, listen, man, world it made me crazy. Might just turn around to 180. I ain't politicking, I ain't kissing no baby. The devil, don't trip. We don't gotta let him in, don't trip. Hey, yeah. Okay, cool as fall weather. Fuck the bullshit, I'm here to make it all better with a little music for you. Had the homies with me, all of a sudden they split. We ain't even worried, we just laughing, that's rich. You know how it goes, it ain't broke, don't fix.
Very hopeful
I
song.
think I lost my mind. Reality so hard to find. Even when the light dim. No, I ain't God, but I'm feeling just like him. Well, listen, man, world it made me crazy. Might just turn
I love this hook. He's so good at those.
I ain't kissing no baby. Don't trip.
The wordplay
You don't
is
gotta let 'em in.
next level
Don't trip.
for Mac.
Hey, yeah. Down my mind, it goes.
Ooh, this is a good bridge.
It goes, it goes. I let it go, but I never go with it.
That's interesting. I like that. Like the keys are playing hopscotch right now. Yeah, very hopeful song actually, and it's called Blue World. So like I was saying, swimming was red, this feels blue. I really like his wordplay across this. Not a very dense track, I don't think, and I think that works in its favor because the message is pretty straightforward. I really like what was happening rhythmically. I think it's a very easy listening song, and this is easily going to be one of my favorites. We're going to get into number 4, which is Good News, and I've actually heard this song before, but now let's see what it sounds like in the context of the album. So track number 4, Good News. Man, with the headphones on, I never realized how heavy the bass was in here.
I spent the whole day in my head. Do a little spring cleaning. I'm always too busy dreaming. A lot of things I
Definitely a
regret,
change
but I'll
of
just say I
pace,
forget.
direction, and themes in this one, I
Can it
think.
just be easy? Why does everybody need me to stay?
I think once those synths come in is when the emotions kind of start hitting because it just feels so nostalgic.
Yeah. Can I get a break? I wish that I could just get out my goddamn way. What does it
Yeah.
say? Maybe I'll lay down for a little. Instead of always trying to figure everything out. Half the time I don't even know what I'm saying it about. Good news, good news, good news. That's all they wanna hear. No, they don't like it when I'm done.
Those guitars, man, that's so good. So delicate. Just the way he uses his words, he's able to have a really broad reach to bring in as many people to relate to.
Don't talk about me too much no more. That's a problem with a closed door.
It's true. People can't talk to you if they don't go knocking.
No, they don't like you.
I just love how subdued his voice is across this. Just feels so somber. Kind of feels like the music is just carrying him. Like he's just laying on top of the bed of the music. The acoustic is such a good choice for a song like this. Just keeps it so light. So now we have the instrumental outro. Such a nostalgic sound. And it's only 2 years old. That's insane. It feels like parts of the track are starting to fall out right here. Yeah. Obviously, this is the standout song of this album, being the lead single, but same thing as before, a lot of really good imagery used in this song. From that opening line, I spent the whole day in my head, do a little spring cleaning. I'm always too busy dreaming. Maybe I should wake up instead. And I think a lot of us, we do spend a lot of time thinking, a lot of time overthinking. And we can totally relate. Do a little bit of spring cleaning. It's same thing how your mind works. You're trying to clean out all those memories or cleaning out that stress. You're just trying to decompress, and I think he does a perfect job illustrating that with his words. A lot of things I regret, but I just say I forget. So same thing, it's like the denial, and that's your way of coping. Some of us, that's just our way of moving on. Got the card in my hands, I hate dealing. That is such clever wordplay from him. But everything else, it's just trying to get through each day, not being stuck in your thoughts. A little bit later, he says, I'm running out of gas, hardly anything left. Why I got to build something beautiful just to set it on fire? I think a lot of us stress about things like that as well. So many great choices on this song, both musically and thematically. I think it's just a perfect song for people who are trying to move forward, trying to deal with trauma or any other emotional distress that they may be dealing with. I would really love to hear from you all how this album has impacted y'all's lives. If you would like to just leave something, I'd love to hear about it. The next song is I Can See. Track number 5, I Can See. This is a left turn from what I usually expect from Mac.
So close I can taste it. The man on the moon keep playing, feeling amazing. Now I'm switching location, 'cause heaven too far when you live in the basement. I need somebody to save me before I drive myself crazy.
Yeah.
If life is but a dream, then so are we. If life is but a dream, then so are we. Show me something.
It's a beautiful line.
Just the way it goes. Yo, God, don't wait.
So it goes.
And when that's all you know, show me something. Show me something.
Those keys are adding such a unique layer to this musically. You have this really heavy reverb from the bass, but you have that delicacy from the keys. It's such a good pairing. Really good song again. I liked his flow in that one with his vocals. It feels very fluid, the way he's just moving across the verses. The synths had this very wavy texture to them, the way they were flowing between the headphones, and very rapid too. In his chorus, he says, I know life is but a dream, then so are we. Show me something I can see. The way he's describing life, right? He's comparing life to a dream, and he's with that theme in mind. Something I was thinking about with those synths in between the chorus and the verse is the synths reminded me of a lot of the sounds that we hear in music from the 80s. And for a lot of people, the 80s was the golden age of fashion and music. The 80s in itself feels like a dream, from the movies that we watch, from the music that we listen to, the fashion. So I think it's a very good pairing between the synths being used and the theme of life being a dream. Across the later half of the song where he's saying life is a fantasy until you wake up in shock. It feels like a fever dream, basically. And how he says he's hitting the ground, he fell from the top. I think that's one thing that people don't realize is sometimes for these artists, sometimes rock bottom is on top of the world because it's so alone up there. And you don't know who's real. You don't know who has your back. That's how I imagine it. You never expect to drop, so hold on. I mean, just like that, you never know when that's going to happen. The main theme I got from the later half of that song is be humble and be grounded. But at the same time, don't be afraid to dream and manifest as well. Really good themes coming from that song. The next song is Everybody. Track number 6, Everybody.
Everybody's gotta lose, and everybody's gonna die. Oh.
Very gospel from what I'm feeling. Love those chants. It's a very uplifting song from what I'm hearing so far.
Sometimes it's gonna get so good, but then again it get pretty rough. Saw a blind man standing on the corner, baby, and he couldn't hardly tie his shoes, but he sure could play the blues. That's when I stopped and I took a look at my baby.
I love the bass breaking this up.
She said, if you're with me, I won't go away.
Love the rhythm section closing this out. I feel like thematically this is a great segue from I Can See. And another thing I'm starting to pick up is just from the album cover, right, where there's the fading between him closing his eyes and opening his eyes. I'm starting to see that in these couple of songs. You know, his theme in these songs is sight. Whether that's the physical sight or, you know, a metaphysical sight. This man, he is describing, he can't see right in front of him, but he's able to feel the music that he loves, and he's able to convey that with his skill and talent. He doesn't need sight to make that happen. Another pretty straightforward song from Mac, but I think it is something that he is very talented in not making it cookie cutter. I think he is very talented at that. So the next song is Woods, track number 7, Woods. I think I've heard this song before because I have it liked on Spotify. I must have heard it somewhere. So track number 7, Woods.
Things like this ain't built to last. I might just fade like those before me. Forget my past. Got questions.
Very
asked,
ambient.
you know the stories. When you're leaving, where you go? Can I come? Do I love? Can
I love what's happening musically between the drums, the synths, and the guitar.
Hey, love, heartbreak will have you bankrupt. Too many days in a days, better wake up. I put your face in the place where the space was. Nobody make you feel like you, but and you don't know you. It's so much better when you wait. Forever in a day. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
Tell you about a better life and get involved. Big or small, it's been my fault. I keep it safe, it's in a vault. Blindfolded, keep it going till we hit a wall.
Synths have the same texture as what we heard in So It Goes in that Ascension part. You can hear some very light keys. You gotta really pay attention to it. Really good mix in that one to barely hear those keys. I think the fact that you're barely able to hear the keys and Mac is a piano player, it's almost like he's just there. You know, it's almost like he's fading away. Thematically, that song is very dense, but I'm going to do my best to try to break it down in that first listen. When will you forget my past? Got questions asked, you know the stories. Sounds like they're having conflicts or arguments, just basically saying, we got issues, let's just hash it out and let's get to the bottom of this. And you need to let me know when you're leaving, where you go, can I come? Feeling a little bit of abandonment issues right there. That clinging, wanting to stay with this person. The chorus, do I love? Can I get enough? It's almost like the give and take of reciprocation, the beauty and the ugliness that comes with love. Hate, love, heartbreak will have you bankrupt. Basically, someone stole your heart. I think that was a really clever line from him. And then a little bit further down, I put your face in a place where the space was. So pretty much all he can think about where his heart was is her. The next part, he says, nobody makes you feel like you, but do I? And you don't know what you should do. You just looking for someone to make you move, but do I? And I think right there, it's his perception on them. What do they need? What does she need? And he's trying to cope and trying to say that he's that person for her. Whether that's true or not, it's an emotion that a lot of people can relate to in his situation. The next part where he says results first time the door is closing. Pretty much once you close yourself off to the world or to access to you, that's when you will get the answers that you are looking for. I think that's a very clever way of approaching that theme. A little bit further down, he says, put it together, then it breaks. All the energy it takes, it never stops. Whether that's a healthy relationship or an unhealthy relationship, regardless, a relationship takes energy and it does not stop. You never stop working on that. And in his final, what I'm going to call the bridge, he says, yeah, I never slip, I never fall. I try to tell you about a better life and get involved big or small. It's almost like he's wanting to be present regardless of the reciprocation that he is receiving. He just wants to be there. It's been my fault. I keep it safe. It's in the vault, which is a great line. Safe vault. And then he says, blindfold her, keep it going till we hit a wall. Kind of the same thing. It's almost like you're showing a narrow scope of the big picture to her. You're not letting her in. You're not being vulnerable to her. And that's, I think, the main thing across here is just the struggles of being vulnerable and accepting things the way they are. Whether it's lack of reciprocation, lack of chemistry, there's just those very dense themes that are going on in this song. And it's really, really good. It's very poetic, actually. So I really like that song. Now we have track number 8, which is Hand Me Downs. Very simple on the drums. Very simple mix already. So see how it develops.
Cause you care and I swear that I'm here, but I'm there. It's getting harder to hunt me down. I made it, but once I build it, I break it. That might just break me down.
He seems like he's a very volatile and destructive soul. But I think we can all relate in some aspects.
You damn well are a great design. Despite being an only child, say you need more of a family round. Let's turn these jeans into hand-me-down.
Well, just being honest, my conscience ain't doing bad. Because I try to minus the problems that I attract. Just keep on turning till the tire's flat and burning till the fire crack. I do not lie, though facts may seem a little far-fetched. I move carelessly, that's why I'm always tripping.
Yeah.
I guess it's like electrolytes, you help me go the distance. Not too efficient, but the way it's always been.
I really like this chorus because of how it's spaced out. You get to really focus on each word that's being said.
Down, down,
outro. Pretty long one, actually. Wow, there's something going on at the very end of that song after the instrumental outro, and I'm curious to see what the significance behind that is. It sounded like a metronome of some sort. But yeah, that song was really emotional, actually. Really started hitting me when he dropped that line of being an only child, because I can relate. From a lot of the things that we hear in this album, sounds like he is a self-destructive, volatile presence. He's very aware of that, but I think in a lot of ways we can all relate to that in some form or fashion, just because that's what makes us human. He says, I made it, but I hate once I build it, I break it. That might just break me down. Sometimes we have a tendency to overthink, course correct, and it winds up being our downfall, because we just need to let things flow organically, naturally, and not try to control things. Basically, in the chorus, it sounds like he's talking directly to her. He knows he's messing up. He says, I need to stay in line. You damn well are a great design, so he knows what she's worth. Then he's saying, despite being an only child, say you need more family around, let's turn these jeans into hand-me-downs. So he's basically saying, let's settle down. I don't know if there is a better way to tell a girl that she is beautiful and you're just shooting your shot. Man, that's great. The wordplay continues in the later half of that song. Just some really awesome imagery in this one as well. A very easy listening song, again from Mac, but he is a genius when it comes to his craft. Musically, sonically, thematically, it just continues. So now we're going to go into the next song, which is That's On Me. Track number 9, That's On Me.
That's on me.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's see how he works in the 3/4.
That's on me. That's on. Time moving slowly, I'm bouncing my head off the wall. And I'll pick you up. I'll help you get around.
It's almost like he failed.
That's on me. That's on me. I'll let it go.
There's a lot of resistance in that. Like he's doing what he needs to just stay sane.
This morning and I'll say goodnight.
Could be like he's been up all night. I love this change of pace with the 3/4 though. Whole different pace, whole different vibe. I'm going to let this play into the next song. I think I got all my thoughts across. The next song is track number 10, Hands. Okay, cool. That was a really cool syncopation.
When's the last time you took a little time for yourself? There's no reason to be so down. Rather fly around like there's no ground. Cause carrying this weight will break your glass knees.
Wow.
Don't need no dope. I stay behind the wheel and never have speed. Hit the zoom, I'll be moving like an athlete.
All right.
Now concentrate.
Don't know why I'm always talking if I'm not making sense. I spent my life living with a lot of regrets. You be yourself.
This song just feels like the perfect kick in the ass to get yourself back in shape. I think this was more of like a fun track for them. Not a lot of thoughts on that one either. Just a really fun song. And we're going to go into track number 11, which is Surf. Really good segue from the other song with these intros,
Can I come to?
running theme from these
The
songs.
world is open, a playground for me and you.
Keeps it lighthearted.
We, head and your shoulders, your knees and your toes. I dream of this moment, nature's waiting for me and you. And she, just like I, got her head in the clouds. They might tell you that I went crazy. I'm just trying to reach you. I know we try, and the days they go by until we get home. Let's grow.
Whoa. Man. Way to cut up the track like that. That was great. Basically, keep moving forward while you're still here on this earth.
We try, people, they lie, but hey, so do I.
We're all human.
Until
Yeah, a little conversation going on with the instruments right now between the bass and the synths or that guitar effect. Okay, so I don't really have a lot of thoughts about this song as a whole thematically, because I think some of the themes that are running through this song is things that we've already said in other songs. But some of the things that I saw in here is just like he was saying in some of the other songs. Obviously, there's a lot of love that he has for this girl, and he's finding new ways to explain it to her. He's also talking about some of his internal struggles with being alone, and feeling like he doesn't have anybody, whether it's with a relationship or people that he can talk to or reach out to. Something that I want to just touch on as far as the music is concerned is, I've already mentioned it a couple times, that there are conversations that are happening with the instruments. For other musicians, they may understand what I'm talking about, but for people who aren't musicians, when I say that there are conversations happening between the instruments, really pay attention to what is happening with those instruments when there are no words being spoken. Listen to what the guitar is doing or what the bass or the synths, because it's almost like those instruments are their own vocal verse, right? It sounds like they are actually talking through the instruments, the musicians. The way at the very end you hear the bass play for a little bit, and then you hear the synths play for that empty space when the bass isn't playing, that's almost like a call and answer between the two. Overall, I really enjoy this album so far. I think we have one track left. And like I was saying, where Swimming felt red, Circles feels really blue. And that doesn't even necessarily mean emotionally. I'm just feeling those vibes across this album. Thematically, I'm feeling that there's a lot of self-reflection in here. It feels more uplifting. It feels more optimistic and looking forward than I think Swimming felt. I think Swimming had a lot of dark themes of, like he was saying, treading water, feels like he's drowning. This one felt more looking to the future, but also looking back, staying humble, staying grounded, manifesting in your relationships, manifesting in your personal life, and lots of love in this album for sure, both romantic and in his passion. I think it's a perfect pairing to Swimming. I really enjoy what I'm hearing from him. So now we have the final track, which is Once a Day. Let's go.
Once a day I rise, once a day I fall asleep. I wonder if they ever even cared at all. I wonder, do they see their own reflection in the rain? Everybody keep rushing. Why aren't we taking our time? ask me what I think. It never really mattered what I had to say. Don't keep it all in your head. Running low on regret. No tears that's keeping you wet. I think you're getting it now.
Some really cool things happening in the mix, actually. These little samples.
But I can't find a single word.
Wow. What a interesting way to end this album. In the first portion, Once a Day I Rise, Once a Day I Fall Asleep with You, those are constants. Those are things that he's just automatic with what he's doing. Once a Day I Try, but I can't find a single word. It's like he makes an effort and he's coming up short. A little bit further down, he's saying, everybody keeps rushing. Why aren't we taking our time? Life moves so fast. I mean, days fly by, weeks fly by. It feels like we're always ready for that next step. And we really just need to live in the moment, take it day by day, and really be at peace with ourselves, which is a really cool way to come full circle with what he was saying at the beginning. It feels like he's going through the days, going through the motions, and he needs to take it day by day. Don't ask me what I think. It never really mattered what I had to say. I just keep waiting for another open door to come up soon. So there's a lot of acceptance in that line. Whether he wants to accept it or not, it's moving forward. Don't keep it all in your head. The only place that you know nobody can ever see. Pretty straightforward, but really cool that he finally put that into words for a lot of people who feel that way. Next part, he says, you're running low on regret. No tears that keeping you wet. I think you're getting it now. So it's almost like you're not taking leaps. You're not taking chances, and you need to do more of that. You're bottling up your emotions, you're going through the motions, and it is not growing you as a person. I think this album is just chock full of emotion from Mac. It's really good stuff across the board, musically, and just all the meaning, emotionally, psychologically. It's a really good look into his perception on life, on the world, on love, and a lot of it is very relatable. I can see why this album did really well and how it continues to do well for a lot of people. This is an amazing album to unfortunately follow his passing. This guy was so wildly gifted, so wildly talented. And it really sucks that we lost him so early on in his life, in his career. He had so much left to share, so much left to explore, but he will definitely live on forever through this. But that's it for this review. Thank y'all so much for hanging out. Please leave any feedback that y'all have about the review or about this album. And please leave any comments that you have about how this album or Mac in general has impacted your life. I love reading comments about how music has helped in your life, whether it's personal struggles, getting through every day, certain events in your life. Music is that constant friend that we have to go back to, and we can relive those memories, good or bad, and really grow and develop our person. So thanks so much for hanging out. Thank you all so much for your support as always, and I will see y'all in the next one. Thanks.